Hey, what's up YouTube? So Stable Diffusion 2.0 is here, and it looks like we're going to have to install Stable Diffusion yet again. I know, right? We just installed version 1.5 and now we got to install 2.0 again. You'll be happy to know that version 2.0 is definitely worth installing. So there's a lot of great features and you're going to love it. So we're going to go over that, and we're also going to go over a lot of the changes that were made to it. There were some things that were taken away, and it's also a new model. So prompting is going to be a little different. And I think the biggest change is that negative prompts are a must now. If you don't use negative prompts, your picture is going to be ugly. You're going to have like some weird looking pictures. So definitely I'm going to show you some tricks to get rid of that after the install. But first, let's get into the install. So the first installation method we're going to go over is for people that have already installed this before. So if you have version 1.5, you already know what to do. So there's just one additional step that you need to know. So we're going to go over that right now. So if you look at what I'm looking at right now, so it's the automatic 11.11 Stable Diffusion web UI features site. So this shows all the features of the new Stable Diffusion 2.0. At the top here, you'll see that there is a file here that says grab config from SD 2.0. And so that's the file that you need. And oddly enough, you actually need to get this file a different way and save it into your models folder, which is the same folder that your checkpoint goes into. So we're going to do that right now. So we're going to right click on this config link here. And then we're going to click save link as, and then we're going to save it into the Stable Diffusion web UI model Stable Diffusion folder. That's a lot of Stable Diffusion there, but you're going to have to rename it to the 768 TAC-V, TAC-EMA, TAC-YAML, same thing you see on my screen here. So that's pretty much it for people that have installed this before. You're going to do everything else exactly the same. If you never installed Stable Diffusion before, or if you suddenly got amnesia, this part of the tutorial is for you. So what we're looking at here is the automatic 11.11 GitHub repository site. And so this is definitely, you'll find the link in my description. Just go click on it. And then when you're in here, you can actually scroll down here to the middle and you'll see a little installation tutorial here for Windows. There it is, automatic installation tutorial for Windows. And one thing to take note of here is that they do have it for AMD now and Apple. So that's kind of cool, right? So first thing we're going to need to do is the two prerequisites, which is installing Python and Git. So when you install Python, make sure you install version 3.10.6. Don't mess around and get 3.11 or the newest version. The latest isn't always the greatest. And when you're installing it, one important thing you need to pay attention to is that you need to add Python to path. And finally, once you're done with the Python installation, just go ahead and close it and put it away. And now you're going to have to actually install Git. Git is a wonderful tool. It's going to do most of the work for you. So let's go ahead and install that. Go ahead and click on this and go to the Git site, download it, whichever version is applicable to you, and just click next about 100 times. Git's going to ask you a lot of questions. Next, finish. So that's how you install that. So once you installed Python and Git, you're pretty much done all the prereqs, and now we can start installing it. So go ahead and scroll back up and you'll see here this big green button. So it might as well say download instead of code, but I don't know, it's, coders, they do things differently. But so basically click on that drop down for the code box, and then you're going to see your zip file. That's what you need. Go ahead and download it, and then you'll see that it goes into your download folder, and then you could just unzip it to anywhere you want. Anywhere. You can put it in your desktop, put it in your documents folder, doesn't matter. Don't put it in your system32 folder. So maybe not anywhere, just put it anywhere like your desktop. So the way I actually unzip this is I just open it and drag it into the folder I want to. So I'm going to actually open it and just drag it onto my desktop. So once you do that, go ahead and open it and then go into the models folder. Right here is my actual Stable Diffusion folder. So you go into the models folder and then the Stable Diffusion UI folder. And then this is where all the magic's going to happen. Just keep that folder open because the next two things that we get, we're going to put into this folder exactly. So just remember that folder and just keep it open for now. So now we're going to go to the automatic 11.11 features site that you can see. You can find the link in my description. And we're going to click on that first thing here, which it says download the 768V EMA CKPT file. So that's what we need. So go ahead and click on that. And it's going to bring you to a Hugging Face site. And you don't need to sign in for this, which is pretty cool. And you could just click on the download button here. But before you do it, I'm not going to do it again because it's huge, but it's huge. But what you really got to do is download it, and just know that it's 5 gigs. And by the time you're done with this process, you can have 12 gigs of stuff on your computer. So just know that before you get started. So download that. And once it's finished downloading, let me go back here into my downloads or somewhere here. All right, so now you can see the CKPT file in the downloads folder. So this is, we'll just call it checkpoint file from now on. And so we're going to drag that into the models folder that I told you to keep open earlier. So if you didn't keep it open, just look at the address up here at the top. So Stable Diffusion, Web UI, models, and then Stable Diffusion subfolder. So go ahead and grab that and drag it in here. And I already have it there, so I'm going to skip this. I'm not going to do this twice. So, all right, we got that. And so there's going to be one additional last step, which you saw earlier. Let's go back to the automatic 1111 feature site and then right click on the config link right here and then save link as. So now you're going to save that into the Stable Diffusion, Stable Diffusion Web UI Model Stable Diffusion folder. It's a Stable Diffusion sandwich right there. But once you got the checkpoint file and that config file in your models folder, just click on this up button just to go back 2 folders to the Stable Diffusion root folder. And scroll to the bottom and you'll see here that there's a web UI user.bat file. Just click on that. And now you're going to see that the web UI is running, and it's going to take a while for you if it's the first time because it's installing all of the different dependencies. It's going to be installing PyTorch for you, which is about 3 gigs. So it really depends on your internet speed, how fast this is going to go. But there's a lot of other things that's installing Clip, installing Blip, GFPGAN, Codeformer. There's a lot of things that it's going to install to help you improve your AI art. And so this is going to take about 10 minutes. So just sit back and relax, and you'll eventually install. So a few things that I wanted to point out is that every time that you run Stable Diffusion, you're actually going to have to run this same tool in the background. So you're going to I'm actually doing this for running it as well. So, and also you see where it just said loading weights. So when it says that your computer is going through some heavy load, so I got a 3070, which is not the best card, but it's pretty up there, right? RTX 3070 NVIDIA. So my computer like chokes. So if I try to do anything else, like click around, like it seems to freeze. So just be careful with that. But it means that it's almost done. And now it's done. You'll see it says running on local URL http 127.0.0.1 and :7861. And if you don't know, 127.0.0.1 is your local IP address, and then the last 4 numbers is the port. There's a range of ports, but right now it's on 7861. Normally it's on 7860, but 7860 will work as well. But let's go ahead and grab this. So all you got to do is highlight this and then press Control-C to copy that, and then you can put it into your web browser to make it work. Now you can see that we got Stable Diffusion up and running, and this is what it looks like if you've never seen it before. And so up here is where you'll actually do your prompts, and down here is where you do your negative prompts, things that you don't want. And like I said earlier, this is going to be a big issue, so we're going to go over that in a second. But let's go over why you want Stable Diffusion 2.0 and what it adds. So this is the Stable Diffusion website if you've never seen it, Stability AI. And to be honest, I've never been here. I've only been to the automatic 1111, so shame on me, I guess. But there's much more improved images now, and there's a lot more coherence from the images, and you'll see the images are a lot cleaner. So it definitely looks better, and it's getting close to Midjourney, but it's still not there yet. I think Stable Diffusion has a more clearer art style, and it's not as artsy, but it's still pretty decent. And one thing that they improve here, and this is something that AI art in general struggles with, is that if you see this astronaut here, he's beside the lawnmower. In the past, if you were to tell Stable Diffusion to stand next to the lawnmower, it would take it more of a suggestion, and you might get an astronaut on the moon instead, or under the lawnmower, which would be a completely different picture. But like I said, it's better with prepositions now. So saying beside the lawnmower, on top of it, or maybe even below it. So it seems to be better at that now from the examples that I've seen online. Next, we have the super resolution upscaler diffusion models, and that's just a fancy way of saying upscaler. And if you don't know what an upscaler is, it basically takes the image you have that looks crappy and upscales the resolution so it looks great, and it can do it by a factor of 4 and up to resolutions of 248 now. So that's pretty great. That's like quality that you have to pay for. And so even if you weren't into AI art, you could install this just for the upscaler. It'd be worth it just for that. In addition to the super resolution upscaler diffusion models or upscaling, you can actually do GFP-GAN face fixing and also code former, which is pretty awesome. If you haven't seen this technology before, you should definitely check it out because it can actually take a person with no teeth and give it teeth. And it could actually, if your eye's on top of the forehead, like on top of your eyebrow or something, and there's one next to your nose, it can fix that. So it can fix some crazy stuff. So just for those two reasons alone, I mean, you should get it. It could even do batch processing of the upscaling and GFP-GAN and code former stuff. So definitely this is another reason to get this tool. Next is by far my favorite and is definitely what separates version 1.5 from 2.0. Actually, it separates Stable Diffusion from a lot of the other AI art models now. I mean, it's pretty significant. This depth to image diffusion model is pretty damn cool. I don't see a lot of other guys doing it. I mean, I've seen NVIDIA do something similar to it, but this is pretty cool that they have this. So what it is basically, if you've ever done like any game development, you might be used to taking like some smooth polygon character or some sort of like blank canvas and putting textures on it. So this is similar, but instead of actually making textures, you're actually just prompting textures and kind of skins onto something, which is pretty amazing. I could just think about what this can do to game development in the future. So this AI art stuff is wild. I mean, I could imagine the future of game development, of movies, and just art in general. I mean, not just like art, like creating pictures, but like movies and a lot of cool stuff. So we're getting into some new territory here. So let's take a look at this. We have a guy with no face. We got Blank Man here. He has no texture on him, and they're actually prompting some cool textures on him. So the first one is a stormtrooper with looks like a fuzzy hand. I don't know why. That's kind of the weird stuff that AI art does, right? And right below him is creepy baby. I don't know why. Like I guess when babies do stuff they're not supposed to do, it kind of creeps me out. Plus this baby has like real big hands. So my favorite here is the pineapple guy. So it's just so weird. I mean, whoever thought of that, kudos to you. You're freaking weird. I love it. So that's something I would make. It's just something that you would never see. And I think that's one of the cool things about AI art. You create some crazy stuff. So some anthropomorphic weird stuff. So those were some of the biggest changes, and this new technology actually keeps it pretty stable. It puts the stable in Stable Diffusion, so that's pretty neat. And I think that this is going to be a huge thing for Stable Diffusion in the future, what separates it from the other models. Now, if you want to see more features, just go to the Stable Diffusion Automatic 1111 feature site, which is the same site you downloaded the config stuff from. So if you look at this site, it shows all the new stuff, like the things, changes to inpainting and outpainting, which basically they made it work now. So I've always had a problem trying to get those to work in the past. They've never really worked the way I wanted to, but they provide a lot of neat examples here, and it's a pretty cool site, so you should go check it out and see all the new changes that were made and the sound examples that they use here. So go check that out. All right, let's run some prompts here and let's go look at some negative prompts versus no negative prompts. And so the first one here, we have a young beautiful redhead elf Instagram model, and so the elf part's not showing up, and it's really weird that she has a cowboy hat. I didn't ask for that, but whatever. You got the negative prompts in here, and it's coming out pretty good. And I just want to tell you too, it really depends. The CFG scale plays a big factor in what type of art you're creating. So if you're creating realistic art, I would keep it in around 7. Once you go below 5 or above 15, it's going to get crazy. So let's keep it at 7-ish. 7, 8, 9, 10, around that area. So all right, let's do another one. Let's do a couple more with a negative prompt and then some without. Yeah, so this one's good too. And so there's a bunch of beautiful girls that it's creating with the negative prompts. Let's create one more. Yeah, this one's okay. Let's try, I guess let's try 2 more. Yeah, that one's not too good. That one's pretty bad actually. So the background's pretty interesting. Looks like a place I used to live. But the girl is kind of weird looking. I mean, I hate to judge, but like her eyes are kind of like sideways. I don't know what's going on. Let's try another one. Yeah, she looks great. I mean, her eyes are kind of where they should be, but she's missing an arm. Holy cow. I didn't see that, but you know what? I would still date this girl. She's hot. Let's try one more. Then we're going to do the ones without the negative prompts. By the way, you can use outpainting or inpainting now to fix missing limbs and stuff like that. And this one is gorgeous. So this is a perfect picture here. And not as good as Mid-Journey. And there's a random like hair just kind of floating here. I don't understand why that happened, but it's fine. You know, you could fix that. I have a tutorial on how you can fix some of that stuff with using free tools like GIMP. But yeah, she looks gorgeous. I mean, this is definitely a doable, right? Let's try it without the negative prompt. Yeah, so that's terrible. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just like one of those times where they catch you in like mid speech and your eyes all crooked. Let's try a new one. But her hands, what is going up with her hands? She has like, I don't even know. I can't even describe that. That's how messed up that is. Let's try a new one. Yeah, this one's jacked up too. I mean, it's decent. If I drew something like this, I would be amazed. But this is AI art, so that's unacceptable. Let's try a couple more. We'll try 2 more, and then we'll call it good. Yeah, not so good. Not so good. It's half decent, but it's just like I don't even know what's going on here. It's like another picture within a picture. All right, this one's pretty nice. I mean, this one's actually pretty good. If you threw this one in GFP again, I might even save this picture and try and put it back in here and clean it up. I mean, we can restore the face. We can send this to image and just do like maybe a restore face, and yeah, that one's not bad. So let's try it again with the negative prompts and just the difference between the clarity and the coherency of the pictures. So that last one was pretty good. And so I mean, you can see her eyes are pretty good and her hair and everything. They got some loose strands, so I like that art style. And so that's pretty decent. Try 1 or 2 more and we'll call it good. Let me uncheck that. Yeah, so I mean, look at that. It's just night and day almost sometimes. So they are getting better with the whole without negative prompt stuff, but when it first came out, it was so bad. So if you're getting not getting the results you need, I mean, this negative prompts is definitely a must in those cases. So I mean, you could also kind of mix and match here with the CFG scale and these different styles to kind of create a better image. But if you're getting an issue, just put in the negative prompt and you should get much better results. And so that's pretty much it. I mean, that's all I had. I just wanted to show you the negative prompts here at the end after you install it, because it makes a big difference in the stuff you're making. And there's also negative prompts specifically for things like landscape and other things, water. So you should find those negative prompts online as well. So the actual automatic site has some as well. This girl's gorgeous. It's perfect right here. Her arm is weird. It's like grab my strong hand, child. She got a small hand, but yeah, it's producing some decent results. And let me give you one more example of without the negative prompt. Here we go. Wow. Okay, so yeah, so if you get pictures like this all the time, definitely put in a negative prompt and it'll help fix things. And if you learned anything and I helped you install this, just go ahead and like this video, and that's it. I mean, thank you very much for watching this far into the video, and all right, take it easy.
Thank you for watching, and as always, sayonara, aloha, hafa adios, zaijian, alvida, annyeong, pa el lam, and please come again.